The Red Raiders look to stay hot in the portal and add even more blue chip talent. In today's video, we'll discuss 6 players linked to the Red Raiders in some capacity, including multiple edge rushers and defensive linemen and an impact wide receiver. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And if you want to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, just follow these 3 simple steps for 100% free content on everything Texas Tech football all year long. All you have to do is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And, well, if you don't want to do that, I would encourage you to do this. Like the video if you're just excited about what Texas Tech has done in the portal so far. The #1 ranked portal class. Can't get much better than that, people. Will it end that way? I don't know, but it's off to a great start by Joey McGuire and crew. So if you're excited about that and you want to be a part of the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's just jump right into it. There are a couple of names here that are repeats, but they are scheduled to be on campus or have already been on campus or are currently on campus. Let's get to it. Nyziah Hunter, the California wide receiver, 6'2", 210, former 4-star wide receiver. Out of the class of 2023, he would be a redshirt sophomore if he was to come out to the 806. He posted 40 catches, 578 yards, and 5 TDs in 2024 for the Bears. He plays fast, he's confident, and he is highly coveted in the transfer portal by multiple schools. But when you look at everything, this is probably going to come down to 3 schools, okay? And does Reggie Virgil change the impact of Texas Tech potentially landing Hunter? My initial reaction is no, but the 3 schools in on Hunter where he has official visits scheduled are Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech. Can that change? Obviously, but this is a guy where I think if Texas Tech was able to land his commitment, they would 100% take him and add him to a wide receiver room that looks to be in solid shape with Reggie Virgil, who I just mentioned from Miami of Ohio, who committed this past weekend, and then also Caleb Payday, Douglas, and Koy Aiken. But if you can get a guy in Hunter that could come in and play that slot and really be a chess piece and move all over, I think you do so if you're Joey McGuire and crew. Again, he's not going to take the top off of the defense or anything like that. Probably runs closer to a high 4.4 or a low 4.5. But he is a guy that I think could be a really pivotal player and almost come in and not potentially be Josh Kelly in terms of 100% in that mold, but a guy in similar stature that could go into the slot and be a key difference maker for the Red Raiders at the wide receiver position. All right, we'll move to the defensive side of the football. A lot of y'all have been asking, where are the edge rushers? Where are the edge rushers? We'll bring another one up right now. Cazeem Moore, Elon edge. We've talked about him in really, I think, one other video here on the channel. He's 6'5", 255, and he is one of the most highly coveted edge rushers in this portal cycle, a top 20 edge so far. And by the way, for those that don't know, I believe last time I checked, there was over 1,100 players in the portal. So being top 20 at your position, pretty damn good. He's coming off of a junior season in which he posted 51 tackles, 12 for loss, 6 sacks, and had 38 pressures, according to PFF. He has scheduled visits as it stands right now to 2 Big 12 schools, obviously Texas Tech, Cincy being the other, and then he actually canceled his other visit to a Big 12 school, which was Colorado. Instead, he will go visit that school on the East Coast that unfortunately beat the Red Raiders in the national championship on the hardwood. I refuse to say their name. But again, he is viewed as a top 20 edge according to On3. He has some familiarity with a player in the Texas Tech program, that being John Carlos Miller III, who also played at Elon, obviously on opposite sides of the football. But he's 6'5", 255, has an explosive burst off the edge, and I think would be a solid addition to the Red Raider pass rush attack if he were to commit to the Scarlet and Black. All right, a guy that we haven't talked about but has already been on campus is also on campus now at the time of this recording, Sunday, December 15th, on the campus of the team you will be playing in the bowl game. So you're going up against them in more ways than one. That is David Oki from Abilene Christian. You may remember him, and he had a pretty good game. We'll talk about his stats in week 1 against the Red Raiders. He is a defensive tackle. He is 6'2", 290, at least that's what he's listed. He had 64 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 passes deflected in 2024. As I mentioned, you may remember him from week 1 because he was one of the, deterrence for the Red Raiders in terms of the Abilene Christian Wildcats and getting pressure on Baron Morton early and often in that game. He had 5 tackles in 1 pass breakup. He is one of the more highly coveted FCS players in this portal cycle. He has offers from Texas Tech, USC, North Carolina, Arkansas, K-State, Indiana, and others. He's obviously been on the Texas Tech campus by the time you're hearing this on December 15th, which is Sunday. He is already gone on his visit to the 806 and now is in Arkansas, as I mentioned. But he'd be a nice compliment alongside a guy like Skylar Gill-Howard, who he landed from Northern Illinois earlier on in the weekend. And I think he's a guy that could be a really nice compliment in the sense that they go off of each other well from the standpoint of they're both slippery guys, but their high football IQs always seemingly seem to pop on tape. And again, I know some people are saying, oh, RC, you're basing, Skylar Gill-Howard's performance against Notre Dame in high regard. I am going to face that in high regard. That's a hell of an offensive line that he looked pedestrian up there in South Bend, right? But David Oki, yes, it was the Texas Tech offensive line, but that was really the lone game they had against Power 4 competition, and he more than held his own. I think he would be a really good piece to add to the mix on the interior of that Shieldwood defense. Now, a guy currently on campus right now as you listen to this on Sunday, December 15th, 2024, is Louisiana transfer tight end Terrance Carter Jr. We've talked about him already on the channel, I should say. But this is a guy, in my opinion, that would be a really, really big add for the Red Raiders and one of the more highly coveted tight end and skill position players in this portal cycle. He is 6'2", 240, 2 years of eligibility remaining, a native of Killeen, Texas. In 2024, he had 48 catches, almost 700 yards, 689 to be exact, 4 touchdowns, and average 14.5 yards per catch. First team all Sun Belt player. Listen, whatever your opinions are on lower level, quote unquote, Sun Belt's a pretty damn good conference, okay? And he was first team there. Now, according to On3, he is ranked as the 4th best tight end in this portal class and the top 70 player overall. He has impressive catching ability, blocking skills as well, and he's really nimble for his size. Again, 6'2", 240. And he's versatile. You can line him up in the backfield. You can line him up, obviously, at the tight end spot, in the slot, out wide, wherever you need him to be. He is a solid contributor and kind of a chess piece you can move around if you are Mac Leftwich. Now, his offer list is extensive. It includes Florida State, Arkansas, Cal, Texas Tech, Houston, Illinois, Pitt, and Liberty, and others. As I mentioned, he is currently on campus today, December 15th, 2024, at the time that you are listening to this video. So he is a guy that could potentially be in the cards for the Red Raiders and one of those tight ends and really skill position players that the Red Raiders are highly coveting in the portal. All right. Speaking of a highly touted skill position player, these two guys that we're going to talk about, one a skill position player, another one on the defensive side, Texas Tech has been linked to more so in whispers or connected to because of, certain connections with a player or two on the roster. So we'll start with Quinten Joyner, the USC running back. He's 5'11", 216, had 63 carries, 478 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 2024. He led the Big Ten, in yards per carry, 7.6. He will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. He went to the same high school as Taj Brooks. And recently he visited Ohio State, and there are other multiple high-level programs in the mix for him, but he is currently ranked as a top 5 running back in this portal cycle. I will admit, is this a pipe dream? Probably closer to a pipe dream than reality, but I will say this as well. Did you think you were going to get the number 1 offensive lineman in the portal in Hunter Zambrano? Did you think you were going to get the number 2 DB in this portal class? Did you think you were going to get a top 10 defensive lineman in Skylar Gill-Howard in this portal cycle? Texas Tech is moving in ways that I think a lot of people didn't expect. So I'm not counting it out because there has been whispers here. Is it likely? Probably not. But I do think Texas Tech has reached out. They're doing their due diligence. And if they want to make a run at Quinten Joyner, I think they could. All right, the last guy we're going to talk about is an all Big 12 second-teamer from this past season and arguably the biggest human being in the portal right now. I say arguably because I'm not too sure, but he's up there. 6'4", 320. It's what he's listed at. And you may know who I'm talking about. It's Nyziah Hunter, the UCF defensive tackle. He had 45 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, and 1 sack for the Knights in 2024. He is a legit game changer at the D-line position, interior defensive tackle position. And I think Texas Tech is going to make a run at him. I do. Is it likely? Again, like Joyner, probably not. But I do think the Red Raiders are doing their due diligence, and they're going after top-end portal talent that they need at certain positions. And Joyner and Hunter fit the mold, more so Hunter in this regard at the DT spot in terms of really big needs. And he is a really big human and would provide a huge impact on the defensive line. So I'm not counting it out. Again, maybe it's a pipe dream like Joyner, but I do think Texas Tech is going to reach out. They're going to show interest and at least see what the interest is on the Hunter side and also where that money may be in the conversation. And I think it's going to be similar to Joyner as well. So again, the names to watch here are Hunter, the Cal wide receiver, Moore, the Elon edge, Oki, the Abilene Christian defensive tackle, Carter Jr., the tight end from Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, Quinten Joyner, the USC RB, and then Nyziah Hunter, the UCF defensive tackle. All right, that's going to do it for your Texas Tech update on, well, guys, the Red Raiders are going after in the portal. And I'll say this, there's guys that we may not even discuss on this channel that may commit. That's how quick the Red Raiders are working in the portal. But we're going to keep you up to date as much as we can here. And if you want to stay in the know on everything Texas Tech football, on the gridiron, in the portal, on the high school recruiting trail, and much more, just follow these 3 simple steps for 100% free videos on your Red Raiders all year long. All you got to do is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the Back to 12 squad today.